Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love, to Astro Fenixx, flying into the moment yet again and radiating love as always. And we're going to be talking about the new moon in Pisces in this video. I'm a little late to the party in classic Pisces moon fashion. I have my natal moon in Pisces at 28 degrees. We just had a new moon in Pisces at 4 degrees. And we're going to have the moon in Pisces for at least the next couple of days. So this is definitely going to be an energy that we're still going to be feeling, even though this moon apexed, the new moon apexed earlier this morning, at least here on the eastern coast. So it's really hard, truthfully, to try and encapsulate these kind of moons in words, because it's in the sign of Pisces, where if you think about words and communication, this is the realm of Mercury and Gemini energy, and Mercury just happens to be retrograde in Pisces. So trying to make sense, first of all, of a new moon in Pisces, trying to logically make sense of a new moon in Pisces, while the ruler of communication, Mercury, which doesn't like to be in Pisces, is in Pisces retrograde, and of course the moon did conjunct Mercury, if it's not conjuncted right now. This is already kind of hard to put into words. So it's very much so more of a feeling energy, very much so subtle, etheric, spiritual in nature. We got to think about this, guys. Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. It's the last sign before the astrological new year. So new moons, of course, bring new beginnings. They bring about this new opportunity, and the seeds that we plant during this time, we will see them begin to manifest as the months come. By the time that we get to the full moon in Pisces, when we reach Virgo season in 6 months or so. But for now, it's Pisces season. And this has everyone in their feels. This has everyone, you may be feeling a little bit more tired than usual right now. There may be more tendencies to want to escape into your fantasies and your delusions, especially, like I said, with Mercury retrograde here and Neptune here in Pisces. Thank God we have all this Capricorn energy. I'm serious. Like, if we didn't have this Capricorn energy, if we didn't have some of this grounding energy with Mars now in Capricorn, with Jupiter now in Capricorn, of course, Saturn's been here, Pluto, the South Node, and then, of course, we got Uranus, the rebel, the lightning god. A lot of times people like to think that Jupiter is a lightning god. Of course, you see, Zeus with the lightning. But when I think of Uranus energy, I think of lightning. I think of electricity. I think of that spark, that zzz. That's over in Uranus, shaking things up at the core. So we have this interesting grounding energy on these different aspects that are, of course, are making this nice sextiling energy over to this new moon. You have Uranus, of course, making the sextile over here. We have Mars making the sextile over to this new moon. So there's definitely some opportunities that are presenting themselves. And what's interesting about this is that we're probably going to look more in the direction of the Mars energy. At least it's going to look seemingly like the easiest route. Kind of funny, right? That going the Capricorn route may seem like the easiest route to take, but the opportunities that are going to come through that sextile, we got to remember, Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Mars loves to be here. Why? Because Mars can make something of itself. It goes from being the novice and the student, and it climbs the mountain, and it becomes the master. Whereas you look at the sextile with Uranus, over in Taurus, Uranus does not like to be in Taurus. So this is shaking up our value system from the core. But here's the thing about this new moon. It's at 4 degrees. So guess what? 4 numerology is ruled by, guess what? You already know. It's Uranus energy. It is Aquarius energy. So it's almost like it's almost like two things are coming from opposite sides. It's like we're being presented with these two different opportunities. And they both look amazing, incredible in their own right. And what I think is happening here is that we're not necessarily picking one or the other. I think really what's happening here is a nice sort of synthesis of these two energies. I think the sextiling energy of this new moon is wanting to bring about a synthesis of this energy. And the reason why I say that, You know, of course, like I said, we have Mars coming through Capricorn. We have Jupiter here as well. This is really important. And, you know, we are shifting more into the Aquarian vibe anyways, right? Like Mars will eventually hit Aquarius. You know, Jupiter will eventually hit there. Saturn will be there in just a very short few months, even though it will retrograde back into Capricorn. So in a sense, we are kind of wrapping up this Capricorn energy. We're kind of wrapping up, you know, this this theme in this narrative of the Capricorn vibe. Of course, Pluto's still going to be here, and of course, the South Node's still going to be here, but the South Node will be coming into Gemini later in the year. Excuse me, the South Node will be going to Sagittarius later in the year. North Node will be coming into Gemini later in the year. So we are sort of, what we're experiencing here is we're sort of experiencing the sort of last quarter, if you will. If you want to look at it as like a game, like a sports game with 4 quarters, we're kind of entering the last quarter of the game when it comes to this Capricorn energy. Now, this last quarter of the game, by the time that Mars comes out of Capricorn and by the time that Jupiter and Saturn come out of Capricorn and it's just Pluto, that is going to literally feel like the end of a basketball game. I don't know if any of you guys are into sports and anything like that, but the end of a basketball game is dreadfully long because you can literally have like 45 seconds left on the clock and the game can drag out another 15 minutes. That's how it's going to feel once all these energies leave Capricorn and Pluto is still chilling there, right? And Uranus, of course, is moving slow and it's into Taurus, but there's going to be this interesting synthesis of this energy. I think really we're going to be a little bit more focused, at least initially, on the Capricorn opportunities that are coming through. How to turn our fantasies and our dreams into a reality. How to actually engage with our passions and engage with the sense of spirituality, and how to actually, you know, make something of it. You know, this is concerning our career, legacy, and purpose. Of course, you want to see where these energies are in your chart. You want to see where this new moon is in your chart and where these sextiling energies are in your chart and what sort of opportunities are going to be coming up. I'm really feeling that, you know, this Capricorn energy especially is going to be very prevalent. Of course, we have a lot of energy here, but it's going to kind of show us a bit of like the steps of like how we're going to, you know, climb this mountain and actually put one step in front of the other. Whereas the Uranus energy, this is breakdown, breakthrough energy, and it's in Taurus. So it's going to be, what we're going to notice is that we're probably going to go in the direction of the Mars energy. Excuse me. But as we continue along this path, as we continue to follow our dreams, and hopefully you're not following, hopefully you're living them every single day, or at least embodying some aspect of the dream every single day, right? It's not just enough to just try and chase happiness and stuff like that or pursue happiness. It's about being happy, but also making the decision to be happy. I think that's another thing about it. Capricorn does rule decisions, and you can decide with this new moon to be happy regardless of the external circumstances. Because if you really think about it, Aquarius energy is very much so quantum energy. And the ruler of Aquarius, Uranus, which is sextiling this new moon, by the way, being in Taurus, is definitely more focused on the external, the 5 senses, you know, sensations and that sort of stuff. Not that Taurus can't get deep, because Taurus can get deep, but it's definitely more focused on those type of sensations. You gotta also think, guess what the 11th house to Taurus is? Freaking Pisces, right? That's the 11th house, and Uranus rules the natural 11th house. So it's kind of an interesting energy. It's kind of an interesting dichotomy that's happening right here. I don't even know if I used that word correctly just now. that might have been like some Mercury retrograde type stuff. But this is definitely, sorry, I almost sort of lost my train of thought, but that's actually kind of a good, you know, example of this new moon. You may find yourself going off and some sort of explanation, and then your mind could just sort of trail off. And we have to learn to be okay with the trailing off. And I think Uranus and Taurus is doing just that. I think once we are engaging in this journey and we're moving forward and we're kind of embodying that warrior-like energy of the Mars, Aries-like energy as it goes through Capricorn, and as it continues its ascent and conjuncts all these energies, we're going to notice that our value systems are going to get challenged and that there are going to be some cracks in the road. And we have to learn to be okay with, we got to learn which cracks are okay to jump. We have to learn which cracks are okay to try and walk around. We have to learn which cracks are okay to just let the water kind of flow into it. We have to learn, or you could think of it as a river. Think of it as a river. Some rivers, it's easy to just jump across, because you're not going to get swept away in the current. Some rivers, it may be a little bit more difficult. Maybe you have to find a bridge or something like that. Other rivers, you may find out that you have to actually build the bridge, right? So that's another thing. It's like there's so many different ways that you can come across this, and our values, our sense of self-worth is in many ways going to be challenged over the course of the next several years, honestly, while Uranus is in Taurus. But this new moon, which is ending a cycle of 12 new moons, you got to think about it. We get a new moon in every sign. So this new moon in Pisces is actually the ending of a cycle of new moons and new seeds. And when you think about Pisces, what do you think about? You think of the spiritual realms. You think of the etheric realms. You think of fantasies. You think of your imagination. You think of magic, despite the fact that there's magic in every sign. But these are the things that you think about. So we're actually going to be planting seeds for new magic. We're going to be planting seeds, and this can actually take on very realistic implications if we put one foot in front of the other and if we really trust ourselves. I was shuffling the deck earlier, and interesting enough, I do have the Princess of Swords here. The Princess of Swords, and she has a bird here, which I think is a kite. I think it's a kite. I'm pretty sure I drew this card recently on another video, but the Princess of Swords is definitely this. It definitely does bring about this air-like quality, and you can see that she has like a no bullshit kind of attitude. Like she's like ready to go and stuff like that. And you kind of have to come at this with like a no bullshit attitude. And I think what the Princess of Swords here is saying, I'm gonna draw another card to go along with her. We have the Five of Wands. So some of you guys may find yourself arguing with other people, but really I feel like what's happening is that you may be arguing with yourself. The reason why I say this is because this new moon is in the first decan of Pisces. And the first decan of any sign usually has to deal more with the self. So this is about getting clear with our own self-talk. We may be communicating things to ourselves, and of course then through that to God and the universe that may be conflicted. We may be sending mixed signals, and the Princess of Swords does not want to send mixed signals. But with this Five of Wands energy, this is mixed as signals. Guys, of course it's mixed as signals. We have a Mercury retrograde in Pisces, and it's going to retrograde back into Aquarius. So yes, these are definitely mixed signals right now. So don't necessarily try to make sense out of everything that's happening right now. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. This is why you have to really, this is when trust and faith come in, because that's another thing about Pisces energy. It's definitely about belief. Sagittarius is also about belief, but it's about this belief. And sometimes when we don't have this sort of external evidence, we have to go within to find that internal evidence. And sometimes when we're looking for that internal evidence, we have to look in places that we wouldn't logically think to look. We really do have to do that. And you have to understand that trust and faith, a lot of times people like to think that it's void of science when it's actually high science. It's high science, just like magic is high science. If you go back to the 1800s and you bring a cell phone with you, and somehow you're able to harness the power of cell towers that don't exist, whatever like that. But let's just say, right? Let's just say for the sake of this example, you went back to the 1800s with a fully functioning cell phone. You probably would get burned at the stake because they would think that it's like crazy. They would think that it's some crazy alien magical black magic technology. And you know, some people will probably be impressed by it, but most people who are just ignorant just based off of they've never seen anything like that. And what happens when we see something that we've never seen before and we're not necessarily in our heart-centered truth? We react hostily. If we see something that we don't understand and we are actually genuinely ignorant to, but we're not really in a place where we're calm of mind and really centered in our hearts, we're going to react volatily. So this is one of those moments where you want to kind of take some deep breaths, you know. Kind of slow down those thoughts and not be as hyper reactive to these thoughts too. Let's get a color card. We have the card of Pearl. The card of Pearl. And it says connect to the divine. I want you to see something, guys. You see that? It's the number 25. You see that? It's the number 25, right? Guess what? 2 plus 5 equals 7. And 7 is the number of Pisces. It's the number of Neptune. Look it up. Go ahead and look it up in numerology. Don't just take my word for it. Look it up. Do your own research. That's another thing about this, is do your own research. Mercury in Pisces is about, it's recalibrating everyone's communication to the divine. It's recalibrating everyone's communication to the divine. And this new moon is really going to help us, because now once we recalibrate this communication, as the moon passes over Mercury, and then it'll pass over Neptune, of course. Then, of course, it'll pass over Venus, which was in Pisces. We're going to begin to get a better feeling on how we actually talk to ourselves. So yeah, if you want to understand the universe, you gotta know the art of talking to yourself, right? I talk to myself all the fucking time. A lot of times I sing to myself, and I sing to myself all the time, especially in public. I'm like constantly singing to myself. People probably think I'm a weirdo, and honestly, I don't really fucking give a damn, because I don't really acknowledge like that I'm a weirdo. I'm just being me, and honestly, yeah, this might sound a little hipster, but you want to be a weirdo. So it's like, once you learn how to talk to yourself, you're gonna start to understand a lot of what these ancient religious texts were trying to say. This is another thing with Mercury and Pisces and its retrograde involved with this new moon. We can actually go back and look at some of these religious texts, and we can actually gain a better understanding, because this is, of course, communicating something to us, right? Go back and read the Bible. Go back and read some of these religious texts. You're going to start to get a different kind of understanding of it. And especially if you take time and pause, you take those deep breaths, you kind of calm down your mind and not become so hyper reactive to what these words are saying, you're going to start to see things, the gears are going to start to turn. You're going to start to get like a deeper and different kind of reading, and start to really understand what these people were freaking talking about. One of the books that I have been, I've been listening to it. I need to actually get a personal copy of it. I think I might have a personal copy, but I don't know where it is, so I might have to go get another one. But one of my favorite, I guess you could say, spiritual texts is the Tao Te Ching. I've been listening to it on YouTube. You can just look it up on YouTube and you can find it. And what I love about the Tao Te Ching is that it's a book of poetry, and I think a lot of these books are a book of poetry, but this one is so beautiful, and my Pisces moon eats it up. You know, my Venus and Libra eats it up, but it's like, it has a softer tone to it. It's not as forceful. It's not just as forceful in your face. It's very soft. It's very just, you come into it. It's not just something that's forced on you. It's sort of like it's not someone knocking on your door asking you to convert to something. It's you're walking around in the park and you see someone just sitting on the bench smiling, and you don't think anything of it, but then you walk around the trail a few more times and they're still smiling, and then you go up to them like, yo, your smile is very contagious. What are you smiling about? And then they tell you. And then they tell you a lot of these secrets to life. And that's kind of how the Tao Te Ching is. So I encourage anyone to actually check that one out if you haven't already. I find it to be something that I've known about the Tao Te Ching for quite a while. I've read through it a couple of times, and like I said, I want to get another copy, and like I said, I've been listening to it, but it's something that I've been wanting to integrate more into my life anyways, especially at this time in my life. Learning to just, it's just like this sense of allowance. So This new moon is going to be tough if you try to make logical sense out of it. So, air signs, I'm sorry, this is going to be a little tough for you. Earth signs, I'm sorry, this may be a little tough for you. Really, almost pretty much for everyone except for water signs. But even water signs are going to be sort of like, definitely more in their fields and stuff like that. The reason why I say it might be a little bit tougher, obviously, for air signs, you guys are logical. You're going to be trying to communicate things, and unless people are just not going to necessarily get it. Unless you're like really in the flow or stuff like that and not getting totally washed up under the current, you'll be able to communicate these things, but people aren't necessarily going to get it. Fire signs, you may find yourself kind of drowning in all this water and when you're just wanting to express and be creative, but then all these feels are coming in and you're just like, come on, I just want to shine my light. I just want to just, have fun and play and just like, bring this fire out. But then the water's just like, you're just getting washed up in the current, you're just getting washed up in the current and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny because, I'm a Sagittarius rising, so I definitely kind of get this. People probably see a lot of times, like, I guess, like the fire and stuff like that when they first meet me, but then I got that Scorpio sun right behind it, so it's not that far behind it. And then, of course, you got the earth signs where it's like, Virgo's gonna be hard on you. Let's be real. You try to make logical sense out of things. You try to analyze things, and this is gonna be a time, Virgo, where you don't really want to overanalyze things. You really don't. Taurus, Uranus is in your sign, and it's sextiling this energy, so you're kind of getting, some help with this. But you're kind of. It's interesting with Taurus because it's almost like Tauruses are wanting to move more. Taurus usually just likes to sit and chill in the garden or in the field and graze, but Tauruses are kind of like, it's gonna sound bad. It's gonna sound really messed up, but you're like, like those branding tools that they use on freaking cows. It's like Uranus is doing this to Taurus right now, and they're like getting jolted awake to move forward. That's kind of what's happening right now. So you're kind of wanting to do that, but this Pisces moon actually wants you to chill a little bit while Uranus is poking you. So it's a little bit uncomfortable. And of course, for Capricorn, you're wanting to get things going and get things moving, but it's like mud. It's like a mudslide with this sort of energy. So I encourage you to take time to, meditate over the next couple of days, even if it's only for just a few minutes, or just take a couple of deep breaths to kind of reset your energy. Like I said, this is the time where we want to definitely have more clarity, but I feel like a lot of this, especially with this Five of Wands energy coming in here, this is, we have to sort of clear up these things in our minds so we can communicate to the universe what we really want. And if we're sending mixed signals, we're going to get mixed signals, So it's like if you want to tune your radio to a certain station, right, and you just have it on the middle, you're going to get that middle sort of stuff. You're going to get that. It's not going to be clear, So it looks like my phone is getting to 5% battery, so it's funny. I can't really see myself too much right now, but I do want to draw one more card. And then we'll get out. We'll draw two more cards. We'll draw another color card, and we'll draw another. Oh wow, this is incredible! I love this. Hold on, guys. If there's a way to make my thing brighter, I would do it, but I don't know if I can. But hopefully, you guys will be able to see this. Hopefully, on my actual phone, it won't bring the brightness down at this point. But we have the Magician, and then we have Pink, which is let love in, and then you have the Magician. You are a magician of love. The Magician, this is the card of Gemini, but this is magic. This is Pisces energy. It's talking about letting the love in. When you let the love in, you're not going to have mixed signals. When you let the love in, you're not going to be sending mixed signals. When you let the love in, you're connecting to the divine in such powerful ways. When you let the love in, it's going to be contagious, and people are going to see you just living and just being and embodying your truth, embodying your purpose, and they're gonna have people are going to stop and ask you, hey, why are you smiling? Why are you so giddy? Why are you talking to yourself? Why are you singing to yourself? And you're gonna be like, I'm clear of mind, and I speak to God every day. I'm speaking to the divine every day. Life is good. Life is good. It really is. Yes, there are some challenges. Yes, there are some things that we need to overcome, but life is good. Especially if you're watching this video. If you have the opportunity to watch this video, if you have access to clean water, food, shelter, clean air for the most part, you got it good. You got it good. So let the love in. Connect to the divine. You are a super fucking badass, powerful magician. What do you want? Write it down. Mercury is in retrograde right now, okay? We can actually get away with this. Write down your wildest, craziest dreams right now for this new moon. Write it down. Write down where you want to be in like 6 months from now, a year, 5, 10. Write it down, or just write about an experience that you want to have and get as descriptive as possible. And then, like, I don't know, burn it the next day or fold it up or however you want to do like your affirmations, stuff like that. Do something like that. Write it down. See what happens. Even if it doesn't turn out exactly the way that you write it down, you know, God has a plan for us all. I do believe that the universe has a plan for us all. And sometimes we are so fixated on what we think the plan should look like, but oftentimes the way that the plan turns out and manifests is the way that our spirit truly wanted it to be. Anyways, I love you all so much. Let me get out of here before my phone dies. Y'all take care, stay blessed. Happy new moon in Pisces, everyone. And I will see you all very, very soon for the Shooting Star Daily for tomorrow. Peace out, guys. Love y'all.